So we have the feast of St. Thomas today, and what we know about Thomas, mostly from the Gospel of John. Obviously, he's listed in the disciples or the apostles in the other Gospels. But we have, as Jesus is told about his friend Lazarus being sick and then Lazarus dying, and he's saying, I'm going to go up, and he's going to basically do a miracle. And Thomas says, let's go up and die with him, saying, okay, even though the Jews are trying to kill him, we'll go up and die with him as well. And then at the Last Supper, as Jesus is going through the Last Supper discourse, Jesus says, where I am going, you know the way. And thanks be to God for Thomas, because he asked the obvious question. We don't know where you're going, Lord. How can we know the way? And then we get this beautiful insight into the heart of Jesus when he says, I am the way and the truth and the life. And then, of course, today's gospel, where we hear about how Thomas wasn't with them when Jesus appeared on Easter morning. He's like, I'm not going to believe. And, of course, where we get the name Doubting Thomas. And yet he's Thomas of faith as well. My Lord and my God. What he has seen is a man. That's what he can see with his eyes. But his faith shows, he says, this is more than just a man. He is my Lord and my God. It's an incredible gift. And because of the foolish things that the apostles do and say, we get a deeper insight into the heart of God. That we see very clearly that Jesus, raised from the dead, still bears the marks of his crucifixion. He still has the nail marks in his hands. He still has the spear mark in his side that opened up his heart. And we see that this incredible gift of love that God shows us, he says, the wounds of love do not disappear, but are glorified. The wounds of love do not disappear, but are glorified. When we think about the wounds of love that we have all endured in our lives, when we've reached out to those we love, wanting their good, desiring their good, and maybe we don't have the physical wounds like nail marks or a spear mark, but we do have other marks in our souls, right? As we reach out to those we love, wanting them to come back to church, wanting them to have a relationship with God, reaching out in love as they're falling down the path into drugs or whatever else, and how it wounds our heart. And God shows us, he says, those wounds don't just disappear once you get to heaven, but they're glorified. And all people will be able to see, look how much he loved, look how much she loved. This incredible gift of God, showing us how glory comes even through the wounds of love. Through the intercession of St. Thomas, may we not be afraid to love even to suffering, even to pain. May we reach out in love. And may we have that trust and faith in our Lord and God that those wounds will be glorified one day.